Do you ever feel like you're constantly spinning your wheels, working hard, but never quite reaching the level of financial freedom that you're dreaming of? Well, you're not alone, and I'm willing to bet that it's not due to a lack of effort or just bad luck. It has to do with your habits. So today, I'm excited to share with you some of the middle class habits and choices that might be silently sabotaging your wealth building efforts. We'll uncover the small daily expenses that are draining your wallet more than you realize and discuss the mindset traps that keep us from advancing in our financial journeys. Here are the 8 habits that are keeping you poor. So the first middle class habit that you must break is that you have to stop spending all of your money on depreciating assets. A depreciating asset is one that loses its value through regular wear and tear until it eventually becomes worthless. Now the best example I can think of is buying a brand new car, which loses around 10% of its value as soon as you drive it off the lot. Within a year, they lose another 10 to 20% depending on the make and model. And spending your hard-earned money on depreciating assets is one of the biggest things keeping you broke. And new cars aren't the only thing. Expensive appliances, fancy electronics, boats and RVs, all these products lose value over time. Now, if you want to build wealth, buy assets instead that produce income and increase value, like real estate, stocks and bonds, precious metals, fine artwork, and or businesses, or even Bitcoin. Now, the next middle class habit that's keeping you poor is that you're trying to do everything on your own. And I see new entrepreneurs fall into this trap the most often. Their business is their baby, and no one else can take care of it like they can. But this mindset always leads to burnout. Because as your business grows, your workload will only get bigger, and if you're unwilling to let go of some tasks, you'll create a bottleneck as you try to maintain an unsustainable pace. Now, I know this well because my wife and I struggled with the exact same thing early on with our business. Our e-commerce store grew so quickly that my wife and I could hardly keep up. And at first, my answer was to just work harder. I remember coming home from long days at my engineering job, and after putting the kids to bed, I would stay up late helping my wife embroider linens as we struggled to keep up with all the orders. Now, eventually my wife came to me in tears and said, "I don't want to do this anymore. This is miserable." Trying to do everything ourselves was straining our marriage and family time and preventing us from growing our business effectively. Now, thankfully, my wife broke down and we had a heart-to-heart. By letting go and learning how to delegate routine tasks to others, our business was able to grow to over 7 figures while requiring us to work fewer hours. You don't need a big team to run a profitable business, but as soon as you can afford it, you should delegate tasks to others so you can focus on your most important work. Now, habit number 3 is one that I see all the time: living beyond your means. Now, whether you own your own business or work as an employee, living beyond your means to appear as though you're more successful than you really are is a surefire way to stay broke. It means that you're spending more money than you're bringing in, and it's what millions of people who live paycheck to paycheck are doing. Heck, look at the current US debt levels right now. This is the most in debt that Americans have ever been. Do not be a part of this statistic. By trying to keep up with the Joneses, you're simply conforming to society's values. And you may not realize it, but you're trying to be like everyone else. The same cookie cutter house with a huge mortgage, the same car with the same big car payment, the same expensive vacations. Now, the real question you should ask yourself is, are these things improving the quality of your life? And are they moving you closer to your financial goals? One of the reasons my wife and I were able to quit our jobs and build a 7-figure business is that we've always lived within our means. By keeping debt at a minimum and focusing on savings, we had the flexibility to take advantage of opportunities. Now, we aren't extravagant people, so we don't worry about spending money to impress other people. Hell, I've had the same wardrobe since college, and I always drive my cars to death. But here's the good news. If you currently live beyond your means, it's not too late to change your lifestyle. But you'll need to take a close look at your budget and make some tough decisions. Would you be willing to move to a more affordable neighborhood or drive an older car if it meant you could spend less time working and more time with your family and on creative pursuits? By the way, if you're enjoying this video so far, make sure you sign up for my free 6-day e-commerce mini course below that will teach you how to start a profitable online store. Habit number 4 is that you're focused solely on profit and wealth. Now, early on in my business, my only goal was to increase sales and the bottom line. And don't get me wrong, profit is important. But if you're only focused on making more money, whether personally or in your business, you're never going to be happy. That's because there will always be more money to be made. Early on, you have to decide how much is enough and set other goals that aren't tied to how much money is in your bank account. Now, for me, my goal with all of my businesses has always been about spending more time with family. I want to be present whenever they need something. I wanted to attend all their sporting events and take part in their school activities. Now, to break this habit, make a list of objectives that improve the quality of your life. Then, build systems that will help you achieve those goals. For example, you might decide that you only want to work 30 hours a week, or you want to volunteer at your kid's school or coach their basketball team. Spending time doing things you enjoy will not only allow you to help avoid burnout, but it may also open doors to opportunities right in front of you that you couldn't see before. As a business owner, focus on the levers that will make you the most efficient money and keep your eyes on the overall goal. Now, the next middle-class habit keeping you poor is having a fixed mindset instead of a growth mindset. Most people who are broke tend to have a fixed mindset. They're afraid to try new things and get easily offended by criticism or negative feedback. They also stick with what they know because they don't believe that they can improve their skills or their circumstances. Now, I've taught e-commerce for over a decade now, and whenever I have a one-on-one with a student, the most common question I get asked is this really going to work? And do I have the skills to do this? And unless you can convince yourself that it's possible, you're never going to get anywhere. A fixed mindset is rooted in fear, and it will keep you from realizing your full potential. If you want to break this bad habit, you must find a way to switch from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. A person with a growth mindset is not only unafraid to try new things, they aren't afraid to fail. They see failure as an opportunity to improve, and they also view feedback as constructive even when it's difficult to hear. Now, we all struggle with a fixed mindset at times. Just because we try something hard doesn't mean that the fear goes away. But the more you step outside of your comfort zone, the easier it gets. You begin to think about the possibilities instead of focusing on what can go wrong. Now, habit number 6 is you're wasting time on unimportant tasks. Taking care of important tasks is critical to long-term success, but all too often, people spend time on things that aren't moving them closer to their goals, and in some cases, they're moving them away from their goals. The biggest time wasters include watching TV, browsing the internet, doom scrolling on TikTok, and we've all been there. Just when you're trying to get important work done, you get distracted by a clickbaity headline or a funny video. Now, I'm not saying you should never watch TV or check your Instagram or your TikTok channel, but save it for your downtime and try to limit how many hours you spend streaming or scrolling. Now, while TV and social media are obvious time wasters, there are other less obvious tasks also keeping you broke. That's because they may seem important, but they're not. I'm talking about checking and responding to emails throughout the day, taking phone calls, and allowing yourself to be interrupted. These tasks make you feel busy, like you're getting things done without accomplishing anything. So here's what I do every day. I have a Gmail draft of all the tasks that I have on my plate. The night before, I rearrange all these tasks in order of priority and just choose 1 or 2 at most as a goal to get done the next day. As long as I get that one thing done, I'm free to spend my time however I want. Then I try to delegate or put off my administrative tasks or do them just all in one batch when I have less energy or brain power. For example, the other day I was waiting at the orthodontist's office, so I cleared out my email inbox. Now, in terms of prioritizing your main tasks, I found that the most important tasks are often the ones that you find uncomfortable, which is why you avoid doing them in the first place. For example, it's easier to stream Netflix than go to the gym. And it's easier to clear your email than sit down and create a monthly budget or a financial plan for your success. Just pick one objective per day and just get it done. Habit number 7 is that you don't protect your time. There's a quote that says, "You can always make more money, but you can't get back time." And your time is limited. And if you're not protecting it, you're going to be less productive and miss out on opportunities to make more money and improve the quality of your life. Maybe it's a cultural thing because I'm Asian, but I often feel pressured to say yes when someone wants to arrange a meeting or a call with me. I often struggle to say no whenever I'm invited to a party. Now, if you're a yes man like myself, you need to break this habit. Know your priorities and become okay with saying no. One thing that I've started doing these past few years is block off huge chunks of my calendar for alone time. Now, don't tell my wife this, but some of the slots on my calendar are bogus to prevent her from scheduling activities for me. Now, the final and most important habit that's keeping you down is that you're not working smarter. You're just working harder. Now, there's a saying that nothing worth having comes easy, and it's true that you need to be willing to work hard to be successful, but the answer to every problem isn't always to work harder. At some point, you need to work smarter. In other words, find ways to be more effective with the time that you have. Here are 5 tips for you to be more efficient with your time. Number 1 is to stop multitasking. Many people see multitasking as a strength, but the truth is that your brain is not wired to multitask. In fact, your cerebral cortex, which carries out your brain's most critical functions, can only focus on one thing at a time. Do that and you'll accomplish far more, and hence, I only try to do one thing per day. Turn off your phone notifications. Better yet, unless you have work on your phone, just keep it in another room while you work to avoid distractions. You also want to leverage AI tools. AI is still in its early days, but apps are already helping us work smarter. AI tools can help you write content, create social media posts, film and edit videos, and build your schedule. You can even use AI to invest. And the best part is that many of these tools are free to use. You also want to delegate any work that someone else can do. Delegating is one of the hardest skills for a business owner to learn, and many entrepreneurs tend to be perfectionists and struggle to give up control to someone else. They think that they are the best person for every job. But every business has simple or routine tasks that can be completed by just about anyone. Figure out how to delegate, and you'll become much more effective. You also want to take breaks. Allowing yourself to take breaks allows you to stay focused for longer stretches. And this is why the Pomodoro technique is so effective. It encourages you to work on a single task for 25 minutes and then take a 5-minute break. Repeat the process for 4 cycles or Pomodoros and then take a longer 15 to 30-minute break. And the idea is that by taking short breaks more often, you can reduce mental fatigue, which will allow you to do more focused work. Now you can adopt all these 8 habits, and I can almost guarantee that you'll be successful and achieve your financial goals. Now that you know the habits to avoid, watch this video here to learn the habits of the wealthy and my rules for success.